Hey, welcome to Microdose U. I am Dr. Dave, and I have a question from a follower that I don't think I've ever received before. Dr. Dave, this is super embarrassing, but I have a problem, a big one. For most of my life, and I'm 42 now, I've had a problem peeing in a public place. It sounds crazy, but when I sense someone is near me, I simply can't get the flow started. It's affected my life in a terrible way. Just yesterday, I was in a public restroom ready to pee when a father walked in with his little daughter, probably about 2 years old. I was toast. I couldn't go. And this prompted me to write to you. I think you know my question. Will microdosing mushrooms help with this horrible issue? Signed, Josh. Josh, thanks so much for being able to ask this question. It's a really tough one, and I'm going to answer this right now. By the way, if you're brand new to me here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We talk about microdosing magic mushrooms and how they will help you in your mental health and way beyond that. So, Josh, I'm sure this was really difficult for you. And what I'd like to say is that you are not alone. Yeah, what you're actually experiencing is it's got a medical term. It's called paruresis, and it affects between 7 and 20% of the population of the United States. In fact, I prepared this on my whiteboard here. If you can see this, it's a form of social anxiety, and it makes it where it's very, very difficult to pee in a public place. It can be debilitating where someone has a really hard time urinating in a public place where they think somebody else might hear them. In a public restroom, at a urinal, even sometimes in their own home, friend's home, workplace, if someone's nearby. And it's not just nerves, it's real. Your body freezes. Your mind starts racing and it can feel awful. People plan their days around avoiding public bathrooms. They'll skip water to avoid the need to pee. And I even know folks who won't travel because the anxiety is just so strong. Now, here's something I find really fascinating, and I've done a lot of research about this in the past, and I'll actually share with you why I've done some of this research. Paruresis usually starts early in life. Maybe someone got teased in the bathroom as a kid. Maybe a parent was a little bit too controlling or shamey about potty habits. Or maybe it just developed out of a super sensitive nervous system. And I'll tell you something else. This is really interesting. It's actually very common in super achievers for some reason. Whatever the cause, the result is the same. Your brain wires itself to associate peeing with danger. Not real danger, but just a perceived threat, judgment, exposure, vulnerability. And that wiring gets locked in over time until you find yourself avoiding something that should be totally automatic. Now, there are different levels. Sometimes for some people, it's just a minor inconvenience, a little bit tough to get the flow started in certain situations, but they kind of overcome it and they work it out somehow. For others, it's major. And if they sense anybody, anybody near them, around them, that they might not be 100% comfortable with, they just can't get the flow started. Josh mentioned in the note he sent me that he was ready to pee and a father walked in with a young daughter. And just that alone was enough to get to the point where he couldn't get the flow going. It's very, very debilitating for some people, and it's absolutely a form of social anxiety. And I will share this with you. I am no stranger to paruresis. Personal story. I remember this distinctly, back in sixth grade, I was in the bathroom, elementary school. This kid next to me from my class, his name was Kevin Bryant. So I'm in there peeing and he's next to me and he somehow, I guess, heard me peeing and he said something like, "What's going on there? It sounds like Niagara Falls." And he thought that was a very innocent comment, but I think likely that comment actually gave me some form of paruresis in my youth. It made it difficult sometimes in public situations for me to pee because I'm thinking that, am I abnormal? Am I weird? Is something wrong? But no, nothing's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with me at all. But this is a social anxiety. And Kevin Bryant, thank you, Kevin, if you're listening, like implanted that thought in my mind that something's wrong with me, which made it sometimes very, very difficult to go to the bathroom in certain situations. I remember also I was in college. Now, this is many years after the Kevin Bryant incident, but we went to this, it was in Virginia. We went to this big, big outdoor festival. You've probably heard of it in Virginia called Camptown Races. Just a bunch of people, and they had these horse races, and it was just a big, big party disaster. I would never go to a place like that now. But with all these people, they just had several little porta potties. And I remember, I guess they had a men's area and a women's area. I don't remember that exactly, but I'm in the men's area and I'm ready to go up into this little porta potty. And there are probably 4 or 5 of them. And I'm in there starting to try to pee. And this guy right outside my porta potty is screaming inside to me, "Hey, come on, let's go fast, faster, faster. Stroke him on what you're playing with." He's saying these crazy things. And to this day, I remember I couldn't pee. And I don't remember what I ended up doing, but it was terrible. So I'm not a stranger to this, Josh. I know exactly what you're talking about. So let's talk about microdosing. When done correctly, microdosing psychedelics like psilocybin or LSD can help rewire the brain. It promotes neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy word for saying your brain can learn new patterns, healthier patterns. Now, microdosing is not going to magically make you waltz into a crowded bathroom and start peeing like the champ. It's probably not going to do that overnight. But over time, yes, it can lower your overall anxiety levels, help you feel safer in your body, and most importantly, it can help create a little space between the urge to run and the ability to breathe through it. That's the magic. If this resonates with you or someone you know, here's what I recommend. Start microdosing with intention. On your on days, put yourself in gentle situations that just feel maybe a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit outside your comfort zone. Not overwhelming, just stretch the comfort zone a little bit each time. Bring mindfulness into the picture. Breathe deeply. Close your eyes. Ground your body. Let yourself feel safe. And keep track. Notice the little tiny shifts, the small wins, because I promise you, you will see them. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress. Now, listen, I want to be real with you. Paruresis is not the only kind of this type of anxiety. Some people have a fear of pooping in public. It's all connected. And to take things even to another level, what about sex and sexual performance? Some people, if they're men, they might have a very tough time getting an erection in certain situations. Women may have a very tough time relaxing and getting ready for intimate relationships. This is all connected. It's the same root. The body doesn't feel safe and it's vulnerable. And when you're anxious, your nervous system just shuts down anything that's considered not essential to survival. So peeing, pooping, being intimate, having sex, they get sacrificed. But here's the thing I want to leave you with. There is hope. There's absolutely real hope, Josh, and anyone else listening that or watching that might be in the same situation. You are not broken. You're not weird. And you're not alone. You've got a beautifully sensitive nervous system that's just learned some protective habits. And with tools like microdosing, mindfulness, and compassion, you can unlearn these patterns. I've done it. You can do it. I'm positive. You can rewrite your story. If you're dealing with this or someone you know is dealing with this, drop me a comment or DM me privately. I've actually got some new ideas that I've been working on that I feel will work alongside of microdosing if you've got paruresis or something like that. Let's start the conversation. Be kind to yourself. You're doing better than you think, Josh, and anyone else that's watching or listening. Now, let's get into, sometimes it's your favorite part of the show, questions and answers about microdosing. I've got a list of questions here. I'm going to answer as many as I can on this episode here. Remember, I've got a lot of really important links in the show notes of every podcast episode here and my website, microdoseu.com. Microdose with the letter U on the end of it.com. And our Patreon page it's fun. It's fun. We do live meetings a couple times a month, at least 2 times a month, live meetings where we all interact together. Anything goes, ask questions. We help each other out. Patreon, just check again. I got the link in the show notes and on my website. And plus, if you want any type of one-on-one advice, one-on-one consultations, one-on-one coaching, that's also available. Check the show notes and check the website, microdoseu.com. Let's get right into the questions here. First question from YouTube, Debbie Taylor 20. Dr. Dave, what's the highest dose of psilocybin you've ever taken? I've taken 1 gram in tea, been microdosing on and off for a few years, but the microdose doesn't seem to work now. I take it for anxiety and depression. I get SAD, seasonal affective disorder, in winter, really, really bad. Well, Debbie, I appreciate your question. First of all, I will tell you the highest dose of psilocybin that I've ever done, it doesn't matter because whatever I've done is not going to help or you in any way. So it doesn't even matter what the highest dose that I've done. Let's address your problem. Why isn't it helping you? You said it was working for a while on and off, but now it doesn't seem to work, maybe even at 1 gram. Make sure your source is good. Make sure you're getting it from a reliable, reputable source. Make sure you're doing 3-4 days on at a time, 3-4-5 days on at a time, and take a couple days off to reset. That's always a really good idea. And if you feel something's not working with magic mushrooms, you can always up your dose a little bit. That's not, again, if for some reason 1 gram in tea, you didn't feel anything, which first of all leads me to believe that something might be wrong with your medicine. But if you didn't feel anything, up it a little bit and just see what happens. Remember, on our Patreon page, we've got 2 very good trusted sources that I promise they work. They're the best. I've vetted these sources, and we don't talk about this anywhere else other than on Patreon because I'm in a lot of public forums, such as my podcast, and we just don't want to do that in total public forums. So you got to be super careful about that. So on Patreon, we talk a lot about this, Debbie. And also, it's not medical advice, but please make sure you have a physical. Make sure you get tested for sleep apnea. Make sure you're sleeping well. Make sure you've got proper nutrients. Make sure your blood work is all okay. Everything's connected. So it's very difficult to answer that question deeply just on the episode here. But keep in mind, again, it doesn't matter what size dose I've done, what anyone else has done. You've got to concentrate on you only. Abdullah 09Z6F. I suffer from MDD, major depressive disorder, and panic attacks. Is there any hope for those that can't get magic mushrooms in their country? I want it so badly. Abdullah, I'm sorry. I feel really bad for you. We always recommend sticking to the law wherever you are. Um, what can you do if you're in a country that they're illegal? Well, first of all, you've got to make the decision because they are available anywhere, even if it's illegal in your country. Now, I'm not saying that you should break any laws, but sometimes we have to decide, we have to figure out whether our mental health is more important than breaking a particular law, what the risk reward ratio would be, and then take it from there. For example, in the United States here, some people make the decision that their mental health is has to come before a law. So they do it privately in their home without any fanfare, without telling anyone else. And I'm not suggesting you break laws, but some people, if you do it quietly inside your home, privately, totally, it can help your mental health, and chances are nobody finds out. But you got to be careful because I don't know which country you're in, and I don't know what the laws are. If the laws are a long imprisonment, I wouldn't personally take the chance. But so you got to be super, super careful. Another possibility is, I don't know, this is way out there, move to another country. But although that's oftentimes not very, very easy to do, I totally get there. Abdullah, we're with you. If there's anything I can do to help you, I feel bad, but I can't control the laws in your country. I'm really sorry about that. At Neil Restreim, I feel toxic energy from my friends. Are toxic friends better than no friends at all? Neil, please, no, no. Toxic friends should not be dealt with. In my mind, it would be much better to stay away from toxic friends, spend a lot of time by yourself, journal, do a lot of deep thinking, positive thought, meditation. I've been meditating a lot since my episode with Jordan Power. I've been meditating at 528 hertz every single day. It brings a lot of positive energy into my life. And guess what? You will meet the right kind of people. I promise you. It might not happen overnight, but hanging out with toxic people is just not is just not something you want to do. It doesn't add anything to your life. And I would say you drop them. Don't wish them any harm. Just drop a toxic person if they can't change. Drop them and hang out with yourself and figure things out, and you'll feel much better. I promise you. I promise you. Stevie 67 better. My coworker has ADHD but is afraid to try microdosing because he does not want to be dependent on anything and is also afraid of overdosing. Well, guess what, Stevie? Come to the right place. Or I should say your coworker should be watching me and listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, and going to the website, because the good news is psilocybin, magic mushrooms are not you can't you can't get dependent on them. They're not addictive in any way, shape, or form. And guess what? You can't overdose either. Yeah, you could take too many and go on like a wild, crazy psychedelic trip. You could do that. I don't recommend doing that unless you have the intention of doing that. But no, you can't. They're not addictive. They're very safe. Not addictive. You can't overdose. So please tell your coworker that magic mushrooms could actually be the right thing for them because for these exact reasons. We got another one from I Like to Spoon. I don't want to laugh at anybody's, but I like to spoon. Okay, I get it. Do I need to follow a strict regimen like Stamets or Fadiman for this to actually work? The answer is absolutely not. Fadiman, although he knows a lot more than I'll ever know about mushrooms, I'm quite sure. I think Fadiman recommends 1 day on and then take a couple days off to reset, journal, and then another day on. I don't recommend that. I think you need at least 3, 4, 5 days on in a row and then take the 2 days off. to reset, and then repeat 3, 4, 5 days in a row. I just think, in my opinion and from my experience, one day on and then taking some rest day is just, it's not enough usually, especially if you're getting started and you need to take care of some things with your mental health. One day on is not going to be enough. I think that's all the questions we're going to do today. I really appreciate you being here with me today. I feel your positive energy. I really do. And I hope we could do some more stuff together. Remember, brand new episode every single Wednesday. I try to come out with something that's good and helpful and really life-changing. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you out. My name's Dr. Dave. This is Microdose U. I say this on the end of every episode. I do love you. And sign form.